Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really plunging into building financial security across your whole life. We've looked at sources that sort of map it out, giving guidance on savings targets decade by decade, plus key actions.
Yeah, the roadmap idea is a good way to put it.
And our mission here is basically to cut through all that info and pull out the really crucial bits, the core insights, the main takeaways. Think of it as a shortcut.
A shortcut to understanding those financial milestones. Okay, let's unpack this.
So what's foundational? What do these sources stress right off the bat?
Well, it's these core principles, really. Things that apply no matter how old you are. They're kind of the non-negotiables.
Absolutely. And the big one, the one you see everywhere, it's just starting early.
Oh, definitely.
Compounding.
Exactly. Compounding. That whole idea where your money starts making its own money means cash saved in your, say, 20s.
It has so much longer to grow.
Decades.
Right. So it ends up being way more valuable than money saved later.
Yeah.
Even a little bit early on can really balloon over time. It's powerful stuff. And running right alongside that is the emergency fund priority.
Yes. The buffer.
The guide really hammers this. Get 3 to 6 months of your essential living costs saved up and keep it somewhere easy to access, liquid.
It's like your financial safety net, right? Stops you from derailing everything else if you lose your job or get a big medical bill.
Exactly. It protects those long-term goals.
And making saving easy is also key, isn't it? Automating it.
Oh, yeah. Set up those automatic transfers from your paycheck, checking, whatever works. So just have
Before you even see it, ideally. The classic, set it and forget it.
And it works. It just builds that consistency without you having to constantly think about it.
The sources also mention, and this seems obvious, but it's important, aiming to save more as your income goes up.
Right. Don't just spend every raise. And crucially, tackle that high-interest debt. Credit cards, personal loans.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah, because it actively works against you. It costs you way more than you'd likely earn investing that same money. Getting rid of it is often like the best return you can get.
Okay, so those are the bedrock principles. With that base, let's look at how the strategy kind of shifts decade by decade. Your 20s.
Yeah.
What's the focus then?
20s are all about laying that groundwork, building the habits.
Getting that emergency fund sorted, starting retirement saving.
Exactly. The goal isn't huge yet, but it's vital. Aim for maybe 5–10% of your income towards retirement. The target is roughly 0.5 to 1 times your salary saved by age 30.
And a key action they mentioned is fighting lifestyle creep.
Don't let your spending just inflate every time you get a small raise. Try to keep expenses relatively steady as your income starts to grow. That gap is where your savings power comes from.
Makes sense. And investment-wise, in your 20s, since you have so much time.
You can generally afford to take on more risk for potentially higher growth, so higher equity allocation. Stocks, basically.
Like 75% or even more in stocks.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Then you hit your 30s, and things often get a bit more, complicated.
Right. Life happens. You're balancing continued growth with maybe bigger life goals.
Yes. You're likely stepping up retirement contributions, maybe 10–15% now. The target by 40 shifts up to 1 to 3 times your annual salary saved.
And this is often when people start saving specifically for other big things, like a house deposit or kids' education.
That's very common in the 30s, yes. Investment-wise, still focused on growth, maybe 60–70% equities, perhaps dialing back the risk just a little from the 20s.
Okay. Then the 40s. Often peak earning years, the sources suggest.
Often, yeah. So it's a prime time to really accelerate savings. Get aggressive.
Push retirement savings up to 15–20%, maybe even more. Targeting, 3 to 6 times salary by age 50?
That's the guidance. And if you have kids, saving for their education often becomes a really major focus here.
Investment strategy is still leaning towards growth, but maybe starting to de-risk a bit.
Yeah, maybe 50–60% in equities. You start that gradual shift towards preserving capital a bit more, moving some money into less volatile things.
Got it. Then the 50s, the home stretch, they call it.
Right. Focus shifts to really consolidating for retirement and maybe reducing debts.
Aiming for a strong saving rate, like 20% plus. And the target jumps again, 6 to 8 times salary by age 60.
That's the goal. And a key action here is often trying to pay down liabilities, like getting the mortgage paid off before you stop working.
And investments get noticeably more conservative.
Definitely. Equity might drop to 40–50%. You're protecting what you've built as you get closer to needing it.
Which brings us to the 60s and beyond, transitioning from saving to living off savings.
Exactly. Preservation and income generation. The goalposts are around 7.5 to 10 times your final salary, maybe more, saved by retirement age, say 65, 67.
Provides that base for drawing retirement income.
And the investment strategy gets quite conservative, maybe only 20, 30% in equities. The focus shifts heavily to safer income-producing assets.
And the sources rightly flag a couple of crucial background factors. Inflation.
Always eating away at your purchasing power. Your savings need to outpace it.
And planning specifically for healthcare costs.
Which can be huge later in life and aren't always predictable or fully covered, need specific thought.
What's fascinating here, looking at it all laid out, is just seeing that arc.
Yeah. This guide really shows you how the whole approach the goals, the saving rates, the investments. It's not static. It has to evolve with you.
It's not a one-size-fits-all thing you set up once. It's dynamic.
Absolutely. It changes through the different life stages.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, it means understanding these kinds of milestones gives you a framework, right?
A powerful one. It helps you see that financial security isn't just one thing. It's a process you adapt. Tailor it to your age, your income, your specific goals.
They're like guideposts, not rigid rules, showing how your habits need to shift over time.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Think back to what we said about compounding and starting early.
These decade-end goals, 3x salary, 6x salary, they can sound massive, daunting even.
For sure.
But the underlying message, linking back to that consistency and compounding, it's incredibly powerful. Imagine if you just say committed to increasing your savings rate by just 1% every single year.
There's 1% more each year.
Yeah. Seems tiny, right? But doing that consistently year after year, letting that compounding magic work, the final result over decades is exponentially greater than just saving the same flat amount forever.
Wow. So it's that simple, consistent step up combined with time.
That's what makes the truly massive difference in the long run. It's the steady climb.